But I thought I was the only one here, so I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's
Oh,
don't, no need to apologize for sure. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing the presentation, and I started the recording. And if you let's go, let's go there. So yeah, and we wanted to start our presentation with this quotation from Simon Sinek, and we'd like Chuck to comment on that.
yeah. So people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And I think it's so important because people want to know that you're genuine and people want to know that you're passionate about what you do and that you're in a position to make them benefit by what you do. And so by doing that, then people learn to trust you. When they trust you, they'll do business with you.
Yeah, and why you do that, that's about your passion, that's about your values, that's about who you are and what you want to share with the world. And because of that, people can buy whatever you have to offer. So yeah, before we go further, we wanted to share our personal stories, how we have become an entrepreneurs, and what was the turning point and what was the reasoning behind that. It's kind of feeling that's going to speak to the audience, right? Chuck, over to you.
Yeah, so I spent 20 years in corporate management and then 13 years as a small business owner and in the Seattle area here. And what drove me to do that, I wanted to be an entrepreneur for a long time. I always wanted to like get out there and show what I can do. And but after all those years, 20 years in corporate, what I began to realize was that I was using my talent and my energy and my time to make other people rich or wealthy. And so they were using my abilities to enrich themselves. I mean, not that they were greedy people or anything, but I was giving away my abilities for a paycheck. And then I realized that, I can go out and do this on my own, and I should be working and using my talent and abilities and time to make myself wealthy, hopefully, right? And also to show people how passionate and all the experience that I had working in corporations and then, becoming a entrepreneur myself. I learned a lot. I wanted to take those lessons I had learned and then run a small business in which that I would have control over. And that would be the way I would, enrich myself and have a more fulfilling life. Because we know in corporations, you have to follow rules and policies that aren't necessarily in the best interest of customers. So that's why I just finally just said, one day I just can't do this anymore. I just got to go out and do it. And I want to do the right thing by the customers and really, really help the marketplace.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Chuck. I have somewhat different story actually, although I also did spend 20 years in corporations. I built my career. I used to be human resources director. I used to I have a human resources background, and I used to work as a human resources manager, going through all the career ladders. And my last job was, I basically was involved with people development. And I learned that this is the great field where I can be really fulfilled. But at the same time, I had that idea that, the corporation is my goal because I'm not an entrepreneurial material. I thought I don't have ideas. I'm not creative enough. I'm not a leader leader enough to kind of start, and I'm afraid a lot of things, so I'm afraid to start my own business, and I don't know where to start it, and I don't have the major thing that was that I don't have an idea with what I can start. So yeah, I thought I would always be with a corporation, but although I was able to build a good career, I was really satisfied with what I'm doing. At a certain point of time, I realized that actually work is taking my whole time, and
Mhm.
that's only the work that I have in my life. And it was an aha moment for me, realizing that, well, it's not going to give me a glass of water when I'm dying. I need to build up my private life too, and I also felt a lot overwhelmed and burned out because the work I was working like from 9 to 9 to 10 to 12.
Mhm.
So that was a part of the decision why we decided with my husband to move to America. Actually, if I cannot change myself in that environment, I need to change the environment.
Yeah.
And as we moved to United States, there was a certain period of time where I wasn't looking for a job, and I just started doing coaching because that's the profession that I also acquired while I was working in a corporation, and it turned out to be really good. And I start seeing the results of my clients, and then we knew that we're going to move to Seattle, and there was a time to start looking for a job. I felt so much resistance inside of me that I cannot imagine myself working in the office anymore. I don't want to go there. I don't want anybody dictating me what to do, and I don't want to comply with all these rules because I already kind of felt how freedom feels.
Mhm.
So I decided to pursue my coaching practice ever since, and guess what? I realized that I am creative. I do have ideas, and I can do this, and that's a great process, reinventing myself and learning about more about myself and discovering the features of my character that I didn't know exist. And for that, I'm really, really grateful. So with that being said, it's important for us to have certain ideas and mindset in order to answer this question. So do you want to be an entrepreneur? Do you know what it means? Do you know what kind of a mindset is behind that? And what is the right mindset you need to adopt in order to become an entrepreneur? Chuck, over to you.
Yeah, so we came up with 5 areas I think that people who are thinking about uh, being entrepreneurs, or people who are already entrepreneurs, or maybe more in their startup role, that you need to really create the right mindset. The mindset that there is abundance out there, that it's not a zero-sum game. So we came up with 5 areas. The first one is the journey will take longer than you thought. So you don't quit. You keep going. You may have to adapt, but you keep going. You don't quit on yourself. Obstacles will be more numerous than you believed. So yeah, so the environment, when you get out there and you start pushing into the entrepreneurial space, there's going to be obstacles you're going to encounter because the world is waiting for you to be successful, but at the same time things come up like COVID virus or whatever, and things that you didn't realize could come into, because everybody has the best plan, right? But
Mhm.
we know that it's not a straight line to success, and that disappointments will be greater than you expected. Again, this is where you have to have resilience, because in the entrepreneurial world we know there's ups and downs, because
Mhm.
you're your own resource. The business owner is their own resource, and that the valleys will be lower than you imagined. And I say this because I want people not to have wild expectations, because in the enthusiasm of putting together a small business, you get really excited, you get really passionate. So I don't want people to get depressed or diminish what they're doing. They have to be resilient. They have to understand that a valley is just a place to grow out of.
Mhm.
So, and the price you pay will be higher than you anticipate. Generally, entrepreneurs have to give a lot. And I always ask people when they're talking about becoming entrepreneurs or they're just in the startup phase, are you really gonna be willing to do whatever it takes to succeed and adaptive to situations and not be just so focused that you can't change. So you might have to work, because entrepreneurship is not a 9 to 5 job generally. So what you have to do, it's a lifestyle kind of, and you have to be willing to say to yourself, I'll work, 80 hours a week, 7 days a week for 6, 9, 12 months to make it go. Because if you don't put in, I always find if you don't put enough effort and passion into it in the beginning, your business will go off track, unless you're really lucky. But, we don't want to count on luck. So you have to be willing to do that. So.
Yeah, you again, entrepreneurship is a lifestyle. You're on your own. You don't have any corporate resources to support you anymore. You cannot just, write a message to logistic department saying, "Hey, deliver this and deliver that." That's one side of the story. The lifestyle is that you always working for your business. It doesn't matter where you are, what are you doing, you're in a party, you're in the yard, whatever. And yes, you might want to work 24/7, but at the same time, one more thing to think about is that yeah, you can work long hours, you can put your effort, but you want to have some rest for yourself too, because you don't want to be burned out as well as you might be in the corporate world. So make sure that although it's a lifestyle, although you put all your time and efforts into that, make sure that you have enough time to take some rest. And if you're looking at doing that 24/7, maybe you want to reconsider and do it at least 24/6. So you have at least one day where you can rest, re-energize, and make sure that you have enough inner resources to go and face
Mhm.
all these difficulties that they're there. So you're successfully going through these low values into your successful future, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so after you adopt right mindset, there is another thing that we think is important. You need to check in with yourself. Is there a true commitment inside of you? So you are committed to being an entrepreneur, not to give it up really soon. And we have developed certain checklists, you may say so. What exactly you need to check in with yourself to make sure that you are committed fully 100%. And first of all, you need to know yourself. You need to learn what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses, because you're going to thrive out of your strengths. You need to know what works for you. What is your successful strategy? And you also need to know what you don't know and what you cannot do, because we are not an orchestra here, right? We have limited abilities, unfortunately, but that's true. And we are not
Mhm.
perfect, so we need to be aware what our weaknesses are as well.
Mhm.
We need to build the resilience, because there's going to be a lot of setbacks, there are going to be a lot of difficulties, there are going to be a failure. We need to know that we can stand up and survive them. And we actually, me and Chuck, we have come up with another webinar that we do. It is about how do you build resiliency. So if you're interested, you can check in with us about that. You need to adopt growth mindset, because you're entering into the path where you're going to have continuous learning, and you need to learn not only from the books, you need to learn from any action you do. What do you do right and what do you do wrong? But the growth mindset is about, if you failed, it's not about, beating yourself up for that, but it's about what lesson do you learn from that failure, how you don't repeat those failures. And that's the growth mindset. You need to develop trust to yourself, because if you want to risk, you need to be confident, and you need to trust in your gut's feelings that that's a right thing to do or not right thing to do, and not going somewhere. You need to learn how to listen to your intuition, because the intuition, that's basically your um, safety instinct that will talk to you and say, you should or you shouldn't do this. And without the trust in yourself, it really will be really hard to move on. And you need to get ready to risk and experiment, because you don't know until you try. You don't know what works and what doesn't work until you try. And that's where you have to have open mind and be ready to experiment, and be ready that you might fail and you might be mistaken, but that's okay. That's your learning path. It's a part of the process. Chuck?
Yeah, so I think that one of the things in knowing yourself, and one of the hardest things I think with being an entrepreneur and a small business owner, is facing rejection, because you can't take it personal. It's about business and people don't mean it personally. And so you have to be able to reflect on any rejection you might get, because we all know that all your leads won't turn into clients. So you can't view, like if you have a 20% conversion rate on your leads, you can't sit and think that 80% of the people are rejecting you. So you have to be able to, put rejection in, or if you have a sales company in which you're going out and trying to gather business, if people don't fall in line with what you're trying to say or do, just don't, you have to learn how to deal with the rejection. It's one of the key things, so you don't get down on yourself and you don't diminish the importance of what you do. So the next area we think that we like people to think about is, in a small business, everything is sales, and your business is really a lead generation machine in which you're going out and you're trying to get clients to come in and connect with you. And as the entrepreneur or the small business owner, you are the head salesperson, and you can't forget that, because it's all about generating leads, connecting with the customers, communicating. And you have to remember that it's all about the clients and not about you. It's about what you can do to make your client a winner by doing business with you. So if you have a massage business, it's about the wonderful experience you create for them and how wonderful their lives are after using your services. And because you need to learn how to communicate clearly what your benefits are and what you do. So the customer clearly gets what the benefit is. Because some of the best, I know companies where people have really outstanding concepts, really innovative ideas, but they cannot communicate what the benefits are to the marketplace. So that's really important. And you have to be able to do it consistently and empathetically. So always keep the client in mind and learn what your customers want. What are their needs? What are their pain points? What will make their life better? What are they needing? And you need to speak to it and do it consistently. So it's really important, because they don't know what you do until you can tell it and communicate it to them. And what makes you unique. So when people like Lily, they go to your massage service, what uniqueness can you offer them? And it sounds like you have that. So you got to speak so they're attracted, because there's a lot of noise out there, and you got to be able to cut through that. So
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I wasn't sure if you can hear me. For me, it's been educating my clients. I learned that it's huge in my business. People come to me when they have problems, and they know that I take the time to do the research, specifically for them, and if I don't have the answer, because of my job, I can kind of dig into their body and kind of figure it out, and then I'll go home and I'll do some research to what exactly, if I'm not sure what I was doing at the moment. I mean, I know the muscles, and I know the bones, where the muscles are attached, but I don't know everything. So I'll do some research, and I'll also tell them the movements that are connected to that pain, that are possibly connected to that pain. And if I cannot help them, then I will definitely refer them to a doctor. But I've made it my business to know, to care, to not just be about the massage, to ask them, did this work for you? A day later, call me, text me, make myself available. And so that is working actually really great for me.
Right.
Well, they're learning to trust you. You care about them.
Right.
So it's not only service that you sell in Lily, it's also your personality that you sell, and it's also what you believe in you sell, and it's what you're passionate about is what you sell. And so
Right.
it is very interesting. It's becoming not only about the service or product that you provide, but it's also you and your personality, that stands behind that, and this is why you do that, and this is why they buy it, right?
And that's how you build a brand.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later, about the branding too.
Okay.
So yeah, then
are you guys gonna see? Because my problem right now is that my clients come to see me, but I do want to expand.
That's a great question, Lily. We might be able to address that a little bit later, but if you have it, pop in and we'll discuss it, okay?
Perfect, thank you.
Awesome, right. So then support system. What you need to remember is that you are your own bank. It's your resources, it's your money, it's your time, it's everything that belongs to you. There is nobody behind you that will provide all that things for you. So you have to be prepared that it's going to be all on you. And that's why it might be a good idea to form alliances with your bank, for example. And so it can support you throughout the way, and form alliances with other people. Like, for example, we know we were talking about the weaknesses. We know that it's all about selling, but if you feel uncomfortable selling, for example, you might want to form an alliance with another partner who is as passionate as you, but who has more abilities to sell. So you can split something and work as a team together. It's an alliance, and succeed and use your own strengths in order to reach out to your audience. Get yourself a mentor or a coach. Why? Because when you knew, there is a lot to try, there is a lot to experiment on, but if you have a mentor, that person will be able, who has been there before you and who has become successful already. So he knows for sure there are certain things that they're not worth trying. So that will save you a lot of time and effort and pain from failing, right? And coach can help you to come up with the certain ideas, to come up with plan, to come up with a vision. How you're going to proceed, how you're going to move on. So these are like great support system that you can get. Learn about what you don't know about your business, because as you want to scale, for example, you will be not alone anymore. You would need to hire an employees. You need to know how operations work. You need to know how business works. So you're able to set up goals. You are able to take decisions. You are able to evaluate the performance of your employees. So if you don't know how business works, if you don't know about management, learn about that. you don't have to, have full experience in all of the areas, but at least you need to understand how they work and how they're driven and by what they're driven. Form alliances, as I said, and form alliance with your family. Get support from your family members. You're going to have enough battles on your business field. You don't want to have a battle back at the kitchen. You want to have a support there. You want to be surrounded with the people who can understand what you're going through and support you. So make sure you explain why you're doing that. Make sure you explain that it might take longer than they expected, and and transfer all that mindset that we were talking about. Make sure that your family is also aware of that, so they don't put a high hopes on you that you just started and next month you're millionaire. It's not going to happen, most likely, although it might happen eventually. But if you plant a seed, it needs time to grow. The same works for your business as well. Make sure that your family members understand that as well, so they don't give you a hard time if you fail. Right?
Yeah. So I think that the key thing to take away here is, as a business owner, often business owners will work in isolation because it's their baby, it's their business. But it's usually not the best practice. If you form a team, you have a mentor, somebody you can brainstorm with, things will be more successful and move along faster. Yeah. So the other thing is, now the next area is the entrepreneurs, what their essential skill is they're problem solvers. That's what really entrepreneurs do. They solve problems. And in solving problems, this leads to new ideas and creates innovation. Because as you're solving the problems, you're creating something new for your business, and maybe a new idea or concept that you can put into the marketplace, or a new process you can put into your business that will make your business run more efficiently. So entrepreneurs will look for problems in the marketplace that they can provide a solution to. That's really important. And that as you do this too, you become more of an expert in your area, in your niche, in your marketplace. And the other thing in solving problems, it leads you to greater customer service, which is all about creating that experience for your customer that helps you create uniqueness for your business and for yourself in the marketplace. And they'll trust you more, and they'll be drawn to you. So what you want to be able to do in your business as you innovate, this innovation will allow you to make a difference in the marketplace, make you stand out better, and it will create an impact in the marketplace. So people will be drawn to you. They'll say, wow, look at what this business is doing and how it will make my life so much better.
Yeah. And don't forget that you have to be really passionate about your idea. You pray what you preach for. Right?
So I think you need to think in terms of, in the marketplace, what we've seen, especially here in the United States, is the marketplace rewards rebels, rule breakers, and not status quo or conformists. Because we see a lot of the successful entrepreneurs in the United States were rebels, and they were nonconformists, and they invented new rules. And as a result, they've been wildly successful. But so many, especially when we see in corporations that, it's a conformist type of environment. So as an entrepreneur, the beauty of it, you get to solve the problems, you get to innovate, and you become the rule breaker, so to speak.
Okay. So when have you checked in with yourself? Are you truly committed 100%, 200%? Okay, ready, steady, go. What do you do next? And this is what we also,
Right.
and this is what we also want to talk about. How you create your own reality. So you checked in with yourself, you know you're going to do that, you know you're equipped with the right mindset, you're equipped with all this knowledge and expertise. What do you do next? First of all, create a business plan. Create a 5 to 10 years business plan so you know exactly where you're going, because this plan will help you to take everyday decisions, because there's going to be a really very clear criteria. This particular decision, is it helping me to move forward to execute my plan, or it's going to move me away from that? That's important thing to know. Formulate your mission, and your mission, that this is something that is bigger than your service and your product. Mission is why you're doing that. Again, this is why the clients will be buying you, because you not have only service that you offer, a product that you offer, but you have a philosophy behind that. And that's about you, about your passion, about yourself. Create a clear vision of your success. Where are you heading? How will you know that you have arrived? How will you need to know the exact, well, you can't really know the exact, but you need to have at least a sense of where you're heading, how your success will look like, what's going to be there. So you know, as you move on, you know that you are doing some progress and you're moving to where you would like to be. Think big. Take more into consideration than just your little niche. You have to be aware of what's happening outside of your niche, outside of your environment. You can do past and SWOT analysis. So past is standing for political, economical, social, and technological tendencies that are happening worldwide. And SWOT is strengths and weaknesses and opportunity and threats analysis. So when you look at everything that's going on in the world, you can use those tendencies and see where they open up an opportunity for you, and where they can be threatening for you. So when you do your analysis, when you do your business plan, you make sure that you're using the opportunities that are there. Make sure that you're following the tendencies that are there, but also make sure that how will you minimize the risk of those threats that might happen with you. So this kind of gives you much more perspective and gives you a goal that might be your beacon towards you moving forward, towards you moving forward, and that will be a great criteria for you to take which decision you should and shouldn't take, together with the trust and intuition. Chuck.
Yeah. So one thing I want to comment on here, I have a book that I recommend people. I don't know if you can see it here, or it's backwards, but it's the one-page business plan. And I've probably given out 100 of these books. And it tells you how to make simple business plans, because a lot of people don't do business plans very well because it looks like a lot of work. And it's like, oh man, it's too much to do, so they procrastinate. But this is a wonderful book. I'd say you can do a really nice business plan in probably 3 to 5 pages with this book. And I've had a lot of get people off the dime. It's available through Amazon, and it's by Jim Horan. But anyway, it's the one page, and it's gotten almost everybody off the procrastination cycle and on to do it, because they have really easy, they just guide you right through it. So the next thing is the brand, and it's the story you tell the marketplace about you, not only your business but you personally, and the value your products bring to the marketplace. So, like, especially like Lily, in your case, in massage, there's a lot of people out there doing that, but you need to develop a story about what makes you unique. You know, what do you do for your clients that other people don't do? And you've already told us some of that. So, and a brand lets you cut through all the noise that's in the marketplace, so people can identify with you. You know, how you're making your customer a winner, a more fulfilling life, because they interact with you and they use your services. And you in that you target your audience. Who do you want as clients? Who are your ideal clients? That's really important to identify. And you talk to them, you speak to them in very straightforward, bluntly, and very focused on them. And then how you package your prices and your offerings. So, like you alluded to, you might want to people come to you, but maybe you want to go to them in some fashion. That's a differential. That's making a difference and creating that sales funnel. So getting out there, communicating with your marketplace, sending emails, blogging, all that, uh, some kind of advertising maybe. And so you're communicating with them. So you're creating this sales magnet. So people come to you, they're drawn to you. So you don't have to go out and touch everybody. You just go out and put a offering, what I call a sales magnet, out there, so people will be drawn and create interest.
Yeah, and you definitely need to know what's your conversion ratio. You need to know how many people you need to touch first, how many people will talk to you before they come to have a trial, for example, and how many of them will become your clients. So like, and when you look at this funnel, you will know in order to get one client, how many people you need to talk to. And this is a really good thing to know, because when you know, you can manage that and you can look at how I can raise this conversion ratio on each step of this funnel. You know, what else I can do in order to maximize outcome out of each step, out of each um, yeah, step.
When you create the sales funnel, the average is a owner needs to touch his clients 7 times in order for them to do business. That's the average, 7 times. But the average business gives up usually after 3 touches. So, and I've heard this from so many different people who were in the know about sales funnels and sales, that businesses give up too quick.
Yeah. So the next thing you need to think about is your expertise. Although we have already been talking about you need to be an expert in knowing what you offer to your clients, but at the same time, you can be an expert in what you do, but you also need to implement this continuous learning and continue deepen your expertise, because again, we do have a competition, we do have other experts, and you want to be always on the edge. You want to know all these cut through new technologies that are there, so you can offer more. But also you need to have a team that will help you to outsource your weaknesses. As remember, we were talking about like if you are not good in sales, you can partner with somebody who is good in sales. But not only to run your business, you not only need to be salesman, or you not only to be an expert in what you do. You also need some legal services, you need financial services, you need logistics services, you need office management, and if you're not, you need a designer, you need a marketer, you need a copywriter, web designer, so many things you need to do. And let's be let's be honest, people cannot be perfect in all of those spheres. So just choose wisely what you don't like to do, where you feel you're not comfortable of doing something, and outsource that. Don't spend time doing something that you're not going to like, and you're going to get overwhelmed and frustrated about that, and then get into negative emotions. Just outsource that. Let professionals and experts do their work to your satisfaction, so you can concentrate on your strengths, you can concentrate on your expertise, you can concentrate on what you do the best. sell your product or provide your service. And also make sure, remember we were talking about the communication. The communication is key. So you need to be aware that you need to develop people skills, because if you have partners, if you have team, if you have vendors, if you have consumers or customers, you would have to talk to them. You need to be, if you don't feel comfortable, you still need to at least try to improve, develop some empathy, so you kind of learn to listen and to see what is not being said, what's behind. Listen and ask open-ended questions. These are like two powerful tools that will always help you to communicate the best, so you can understand what is there behind the words that people are saying. Because communication is not just words. The words are just 30% of what we percepting when we communicate with others. The rest of it is emotion, that's a body language. You need to learn and understand what's going on behind the words. Chuck.
So the next area is KPIs. That's key performance indicators. That is what tells you how your business is doing and whether you're actually moving the business forward. And you need, in every industry, there's key performance indicators that tell you how healthy your business is. And this is something you as a business owner need to know at least on a weekly basis. Is your business actually moving forward, or is it not? Is it stagnant? And so the key performance indicators, such as if you're in a service, you want to know how many leads you're generating. Then you want to know how many are actually being converted into clients. And if you develop this as a key performance indicator, you'll know that how successful you're being. And then when you analyze it, you'll be able to innovate to say, okay, how can I get that conversion rate higher? Because it costs you money to get out there, or time to get out there and contact the marketplace, and you want to get as much back as you can. So another indicator might be, how much does it cost you to get a new client versus how much does it cost to retain your client? So key performance indicators will allow you to address that in real time with actual facts. And you track your KPIs and analyze them weekly or monthly so you can see what you're doing, so that you can adapt what you're doing in order to achieve a better success. Or you talk to your mentors or your team, how can we improve this? Here's the numbers. And it's really important. And if you don't have a P&L statement, you need a P&L statement. It's profit and loss. So you know whether you're making money or not, or you know whether your costs are too high or too low. Because there's probably industry standards in everybody's industry. I know every industry I've been in, there's been industry standards, and you have to know whether you're meeting those, or you're underperforming, or hopefully you're overachieving in that area. And simply, it's really what gets measured gets managed. So if you're not measuring your key performance indicator, it's like walking in the woods at midnight without a flashlight. You can't see. So in order to see, you got to turn your flashlight on so you can see where you're going. And that's what KPIs do for you.
Yeah, right. Like one of my top managers long ago told me, you know what, Maria, if you don't know something, you cannot manage that. You can only manage what you know. This is why KPIs are so crucial. And actually, remember we were talking about your vision of success. This is where the KPIs are so important too, because this is how you can set up certain points or criteria for your success, and they will be those KPIs. Like, how many clients do you want to have per month? How much money each one has to generate, and what's the aspiration and what's the reality, and there is going to be a gap, and how you can feel it. This is where you are talking and you are in control, right? Versus I don't know how much my lead costs. And the one more thing that you really, really need that will help you to be more effective is systems and processes. You need to know and set up a clear process how your service is being delivered to your client. What are the steps they have to go through in order to receive your service or in order to get your product? You have to be able to explain that, and you have to make sure it's transparent and clear and easy. And when you set it up, when you describe what's happening, you can always, again, now you are in control, you can manage, you can change. You need to create systems. You need to systems that will help you to track your KPIs, for example. Here's where IT is so important, because how you keep your records, how do you do your bookkeeping, how do you track your clients, how do you understand, how many hours do you spend daily working with clients, looking for leads. These are the systems that will help you to get all this information that you will need to analyze and to be able to manage your business. And you need to set up rules for your internal communications and for your decision making. If you are alone, that's fine, but if you have at least a partner, you need to understand how you share the responsibility, how the decision is taken, so you don't have any conflicts of interest. You understand clearly who is responsible for what, and making sure that there is nothing that is left outside because somebody thought that the other would do and the other thought that the first one would do, and then you have a gap. Or you can do something to get separately, but one thing separately, and then arrive to different results, and that's also the frustration. So there has to be some agreement on how the information flows, how the decision is taken, how you set up goals, how you measure them, and how often do you do that. And you always have to look for an opportunity to optimize. You need to evaluate each success and each failure and ask yourself 2 questions. What have I done right? And what should I do differently? In order to constantly improve. And whatever you do at least 2 times, this is the opportunity to automate this routine. You wrote the same letter to 2 different clients, create a template. As a simple example. So whatever you're repeating, of course, I'm not talking about the service because you cannot automate the service that you provide, but everything else that is outside of that, whatever you're repeating, look for an opportunity to automate that, so that saves you time, right?
Yeah.
Chuck?
So I recommend to small business owners that they get a marketing system, that they actually go out and research and pay for a marketing system, because now they're so inexpensive compared to what they used to be. You can find really good marketing systems that will help you contact your customers, put out emails, put out communication, put out newsletters automatically. And you set that all up in the system, and they'll reach out and touch your customers 7 times. So you don't have to do one every single time. So it automates the process and it builds in consistency, which is the most important thing that you can do. So that so the system will know, for instance, if you have a client that you haven't seen for 9 months, the system will tell you, we haven't seen so-and-so in 9 months, when maybe you recommend people see you every 3 months. So the system will help you then put out a communication and touch that person and said, hey, you know, I haven't seen you for a while. Maybe you need to come in. Can we be of help? That sort of thing. And it can be automated. So that's really a wonderful thing, because you are the guide. Remember, as especially when you're in services, you're the guide, you're the authority, and you are going to deliver to your clients what they need most to make their lives better. And you have to guide them in that. So you have to help them, reach out to them, and bring them in, because they may not know that, or they forget about it because they get distracted every day. So, because you want to make sure that your clients feel like dealing with you, that their life is fulfilled and they are winners for dealing with you, because they're with the best person they can be with.
Yeah. So, do you still want to be an entrepreneur? We know that we were trying to touch a lot of points, but like very a little bit in each piece. There is so much more deeper underneath the surface that we have just been talking about. We're sure that there might be much more questions that you have that are like boiling in your mind. So if you need an assistance, if you need somebody to talk through all of these questions, if you need somebody to help you to come up with the best solutions that would be great and beneficial for your business, you can always reach out to us, schedule a free 30 minutes consultation with us, and see if we're able to help you move forward with your business, with your idea, with scaling your business, whatever is on your mind. And here are our contacts. We'll be happy to talk and dive deeper into your particular situation.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that, because as I said, you don't want to keep cycling through the same thoughts through your mind time and time again, and get frustrated because you can't break out of the cycle. So we'll help you do that. Now, Lily, you said you had something you wanted to bring up.
Yeah, guys, just before you do that, I just, sorry for interrupting. I just want to really quickly tell you. So Lily and Leah, if you want us to share the presentation with you, we ask you to type in your email in a chat box so we can reach out to you and share the presentation with you. Make sure you do leave the email before you leave. I'm saying that just because we just been an hour for the webinar. We're happy to stay longer and talk and answer your questions if you would like us to. Okay, Lily, over to you. Okay, thank you, Leah. Definitely will reach out and send you the presentation.
I'm sorry, I don't see where I could.
There is a chat box. Are you from iPad? Are you watching from iPad or phone?
Android. Phone, sorry.
It's from phone. So on the bottom, there should be somewhere either on the bottom of your screen or on top of your screen, there should be 3 dots. And you can go to those 3 dots and then type your email. If you're struggling, Lily, you do have my contacts on Facebook. You can always share your email, private messaging with me on Facebook. I will, if that's easier for you. And yeah, Leah, before you go, do you have any questions? You can also. Oh, yeah, awesome. That's working. Thank you, Lily. We can see your email too.
Okay.
So yeah, now it's time for questions and reflection, and like we want to ask you, what do you think? If you find the information useful, I'll shut up and let you talk. Go ahead.
Me or Leah?
Yeah. You want to ask?
Anyone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't sure if Leah was going to talk. For me, in terms of my business, I was thinking about expanding, but how should I say this? I'm unique. I feel how I massage, and I've been told this. I address people's bodies, all my clients kind of differently. I don't know if that would make sense. I just do in terms of like where they're coming from, their pain. For me, I'm an older lady, I'm 52. So for me, I'm very motherly. And I think that that's what comes out because I do care, and for me, in order for me to be a good massage therapist, and I say this and it sounds kind of weird, but I have to love my client because that's how I care about my clients. I have to like fall in love with them and have some sort of relationship so that I care enough to go that extra step so that they don't become just another client, because I feel that if I allow that to happen, then the relationship pretty much severs and they can go and see anybody else. But I don't know how that would translate if I hire someone. I mean, it's something that I would love to do. I guess at this point, maybe even next year, I was going to do that this year. But like I said, COVID just turned my business upside down. But yeah, I mean, how do I communicate that? I mean, because that's what I feel that my business is about, the care level. So and again, massage is so unique to everybody. Your experiences are unique. The way we do massage, like you go from one therapist to another, and we're all different the way we do our massages. I mean, the basics are there, but the pressures are different. Again, the way we massage. I just, if you've been to a massage therapist, you know what I'm talking about. Or if you've been to several, you know what I'm talking about. And so for me, it's hard to teach someone. I mean, it's not that I'm trying to duplicate myself, but I guess in a way I sort of am.
Why not?
Exactly. You just need to know what exact criteria is making, like what inside you is making you that unique. So you can formulate that and look for the same qualities in other people. And then you're sharing the same values and the same passion, and you can go from there. And somebody else, they will not be exactly as you are, but they will be some different. But what's important that you have a common ground, and they show the same kind of attitude and the same philosophy. Like we are partnering with Chuck because we do different things, but we do have a lot of ideas and values and approaches in common. That's why we were able to create this partnership. And but at the same time, we're different, and that's what makes what we offer even more attractive, because we are able to offer more than just what each one of us can offer, right?
Right. I understand.
Yeah.
I do understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually love this. I almost wasn't going to do it because I was so focused on making the masks. But yeah, I mean, this gave me a lot to think about. Things that I don't want to do, like go back to Grouponing, It was a huge success for me in the beginning. I've been fighting doing that. So is this the time to redo, to go back for a few months? It's something that I have to come to terms with. Maybe this is my temporary solution right now for the times, whether I like it or not, because it was successful for me in the past.
But I think if you developed a marketing system, you could move away from that. You could move away from discounting your business.
I hate to discount it. I mean, and Groupon sometimes takes more than half, and it's for all that we do, we're giving so much of ourselves, but I guess it's not something I've not considered anything else, because that's what I've done and that's what has worked for me in the past. So maybe I do have to do some research and see what else can work for me instead of me devaluing my services.
Groupon could work now because of all the shutdown and everything to get everything back up again, but that's a short-term strategy.
Right.
You'll never build your business on Groupon, really, because
right.
you're teaching your customers to be in the discount mindset, right?
Yeah, I was, as in our group of massage therapy, we talk about that, and there were so many people that are against it. But I mean, for me, it worked. our expectation is to keep at least 10% of the people that we see through Groupon, and I was able to keep 20. So for me, that was huge, and a little over 20. And then, yeah, I mean, word of mouth is huge. I received so many clients from existing clients. So
That's wonderful.
it is, but
the clients are becoming your advocates.
yeah, and I love that. But this is my thing right now because of COVID. I'm going to say like 50% of my clients are elderly. And so they're not going to come to see me until phase 4 is done. So that's tough. But I do enjoy working with elderly people. I mean, that's just, it's huge for me. I started off as a CNA. And so, yeah, I worked for many, many years. I made attachments as a CNA, and I saw the issues that people had as they grow older. And so I wanted to address them, and help.
Well, with Groupon, do you know how many clients you get from Groupon, but then how many of those people who come in on the discount convert to regular clients? That would be important to know.
Yeah, so it was 20% that I was able to retain from the Grouponers.
And they became regular clients.
Yeah.
Paying full price.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's wonderful then.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather they came more, but I've been able to retain them. So it's been amazing for me. I've been super lucky. But like I said, I do want to, like right now, I feel like I'm at a standstill because of COVID. So I don't know how much I can do. I mean, for me, I'm taking the opportunity to meet people, even if it's through these means, through Zoom, through just being a part of the community more. And I've actually met some of my neighbors that I didn't, talk to before. So that was been kind of cool.
Yeah, I actually have a question for you, Lily. So you were mentioned that most of your clients are elderly and they're not gonna come and see you in person. But is there anything you can do for them within the Zooming, for example, to keep a track of what's going on with them and retain them? Is there anything you can offer them in between?
So what I do is I do contact them individually. I text them. There are some clients that have really, really physical concerns, and so I want to keep in touch with them. Like for instance, I can't name names, but I have a lady who was diagnosed with cancer in January, and she was still seeing me, and so and she's been seeing me since almost the beginning. And so, I text her and I try to see what's going on. If she's got the same pains that we've worked on, then I try to find solutions with her as much as I can. I look up stretches for her specifically because she is elderly, and her bones, are pretty brittle at this point. I try to be, but that's the thing, that all takes time. I have the time to do that right now. But in the future, I'm not. I'm hoping to be busy again so that so that's the other thing. I have to kind of streamline myself a little bit more in terms of contacting my clients. That's another thing that, I have to do. So, this was a good reminder of that.
Yeah, because there's things like automatic systems for sending out cards to people. Like there's send out cards and banner season and things like that. And that's a wonderful way to do it because who's doing that anymore, So that's kind of unique.
Yeah. I actually, like I said, I've had the time, so I've sent out clients cards, like,
Good.
hey, how are you? How are you dealing? And I include my email address, and so they email me back. So some of them have called me, I've had a lot that said I missed you, so that's been kind of nice.
Very good.
Yeah, I consider myself super lucky. I have what do you call it? I've had clients that are very loyal. So
exactly. You want to make sure so when everything is open, they return to you, right?
Yeah, it's just a matter of when.
Yeah. So, do you have a strategic goal, really? Where are you heading? Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Honestly, I saw myself hiring someone this year. I'm kind of a year by year person. So I saw myself hiring one person to take off a big load off my shoulders. I was looking, or still looking into opening us up a massage school for next year. If I'm still here. For me, another niche that I discovered that I didn't know existed are Hispanic people. I speak Spanish, and there aren't that many massage therapists that speak Spanish. I've discovered that they go to and have massages and have medical massages, and they're not able to communicate properly with their massage therapist.
Wow.
So that's something that I'm putting out there in the Hispanic community.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's actually what I've been working on mostly through COVID, making those connections.
Okay. So thank you for sharing your concerns, Lily. I hope we have addressed them somehow. And if you do have some more questions, we'll be happy to, chat with you privately.
Thank you.
What I want to ask is if you and Leah would like to share what are your major takeouts from today's webinar. What value are you taking with you after you listen to our presentation?
For me, the biggest thing is to go back to my business plan. I didn't take it seriously. When I first started my business, I just figured I'm just going to do something real quick. I think I need to look at it and actually take it seriously. That, and I think it was the KPIs. That's huge. I have not been doing that at all. So for me, I just look at deposits, and that's how I know. So, but yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Leah, if you feel uncomfortable talking, you might just want to type in your impressions from what we have shared, and if you had any aha moments for yourself, or maybe some questions, we would appreciate you sharing that as well. And I'm so happy that you found this time to join us and listen and let us also feel fulfilled because we're sharing what we have been passionate about together with Chuck. And it's so great to see that, we were able to address some of your questions. That means that we have done that for a very good reason, right?
Yeah, no, this was good. This is really good.
Okay, and
thank you.
Okay, thank you, Leah, for sharing. I really appreciate that. Again, if you do have some questions that you would like to discuss privately, just you can. I will be sending you presentation tomorrow or maybe Friday, and you'll have both our contacts, and just reach out. We're always there. We could be your support system, which is very important, and we can support you in various ways. There is a lot to discover yet. Right?
Well, thank you so much for your time. Seriously.
Okay, thank you for your time. We really enjoyed you being with us and having you both with us. And we wish you all the success with your business, with your idea, and we hope we could be part of that too.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, take care, guys.
Have a good evening.
Have a good evening. And
you too.
Okay, see you. Bye-bye.